Hey everyone, we are the Gratitude Girls.
The Gratitude Girls are in the house. Hi, Lori. How are you?
Hi, Catherine.
It's that day of the month. Oh, it's the Gratitude Girls Day of the month. This is always so exciting for me. Not only because we get to hang out together, but because we get to have fun people that we get to hang out together before and during and after. So this is really exciting. Before we get into that, our guest is going to stay with us a little bit while we sort of lean into it. I'd like to say hi to our audience and to our new viewers who are watching, and welcome to the Gratitude Girls show. I'll announce who I am. I'm Rara. My name is Catherine Asaro Myers, and I'm broadcasting to you live tonight from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I'm here with my amazing techie partner, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, and I am Lori Del Gradecki, and I am in a tiny little town called Columbia outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
It's funny how we end up in the different places where we are. We sometimes don't know where we're going to land. We get on a plane, we take off, we say, I'm going here, and we get off the plane. But in life, we're not sure where we're going to land. And I love telling the story, or embellishing after you tell it, the story about how we met and why you and I are here tonight hosting a Gratitude Girls show for over a decade. Like, how does that happen? Often people say to me, how do you become a gratitude girl? And I'm thinking, you go to Gratitude Girl Academy School. And they're like, what's that? Like, no. So what happens is you meet someone and then something amazing happens, and then it keeps happening. So for us, it's been our journey. For some people, they've never experienced that yet. So let's take a little trip down memory lane. Let's talk a little bit about that decade ago when you and I were brought together by no coincidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, first, we both have a lot of the same background, like my mom raised me exactly that. There's no coincidences. There's always a reason or a purpose for everything in life. And so I've always been open to anything like that. And so back in 2013, there was our company that Catherine and I both a part of. It's direct sales called Send Out Cards. But we didn't know each other. And our company has an international convention every single year. And each year they have like a theme that goes along with that convention or that year. And so 2013, the theme was gratitude. And so at each international convention, there is someone that is like voted on by all the distributors and customers in the company of who like shows the most of whatever that theme is for the year. So gratitude, obviously, in 2013, and our CEO gets up on stage and he announces that Catherine is the one that has won. So I'm in the back because I am the techie person. So I'm doing video, I'm doing cameras and photos and, listening to everything and getting ready to send out my card to the new winner. And then all of a sudden our CEO says that there's two people that won that year, that there was a tie. And it was the only year that there had ever been a tie. And so he starts going into, and he tells different attributes and accolades of each person and tries to get people to guess who it is. And so he finally gets to, and he says my name. And I was like, oh, wow. So Catherine and I actually met on stage in front of thousands of people. But it was like one of those things that we both like knew. It was like sisters meeting for the very first time that had known each other all their lives, though, right? It was just like they say, people, love at first sight on a blind date or whatever. It's kind of like that, but as like best friends / business partners / so many things that we've done together over the last 10 years now. But we are like the perfect, I would say, like married couple, as far as like we, the yin to the other's yang, and We can finish each other's sentences. When we're talking, we work so together at different speaking engagements where we can just like ping off each other so perfectly. And our CEO had no idea that he was putting all this together when he ended up putting us two together on stage back then. But it has developed into Gratitude Girls with these shows for the last 10 years, our coaching academy, lots of coaching clients, and us doing free coaching every single week, and a book coming out, and Gratitude Girls Academy coming out. So many things.
It's such a great story to listen to. And then it brings me right back to when I was sitting in like first, second row, well, actually it was like the third row, when I heard Cody announce my name, my knees barely stood. I could barely stand up. They could barely hold me. And what you didn't tell this part because you're just so humble. Lori has received accolades in our company for giving the most gifts. And I was so honored to be up in the stage, at the top of the stage. And I remember when Cody announced your name, I thought, I'm going to meet Lori, a woman who has been, a person who has been given accolades for giving the most gifts in our entire company. I wondered what it would be like to receive a gift from her. Well, I didn't have to wonder too long, because as soon as we walked off that stage and like touched hands and held hands and walked down, the next thing Lori did was she gave me a gift. And usually when I'm in my home studio, it is within vision of me. I've lived in many homes, and every home studio I have, it's with me. And that's just one of many gifts. So Lori, you've done so many things. If there was a convention called Gifts, you would be the absolute biggest earner in any company for that. So I'm honored that I get to be beside you in the square boxes here with you in Zoom, face to face, and all the different places that we visited. And one of the promises we made to ourselves were that we would travel the world as Gratitude Girls together. And we would have global visitors, and we would have global guests that would be traveling the world as well. So we set our intention globally, and we have really lived up to that. We made sure that we travel together and separately, and wherever we are, we get together, and our guests as well. And without any further ado, I would like to get into who our guest is tonight, because this is how we roll. We decided to have a platform where people can talk about their gratitude. And this is really interesting, because you think you know someone maybe on social media, or you read their book, or you've taken a course, but until you really get to speak to them and hear their story, you may never know that until you have a really good interview or someone interviews you. And so my intention for tonight is to have you get to know our guest a whole lot better than you already do. And if you don't know her, you'll get started right now. Rhonda Moffatt is our guest from the Energy Institute of Canada, the energyinstitute.ca. Rhonda was ignoring her early indicators of passion for her wellness industry. Her career path originally followed her parents, led of legal administration and community building. While Rhonda certainly enjoyed success along that career path for decades, she was determined to follow her passion congruently with part-time work and study in wellness. During the legal career journey, Rhonda was tossed into some crazy life moments and transitions, meeting her birth parents, conquering her struggle with weight, she won, making poor dating choices, no longer, marriage, divorce, doing the drag and bleed in a career that paid well but didn't fuel her spirit or her continuing path, part-time studies. During this time, Rhonda dipped and dabbled in various wellness disciplines. The path became more clear. In 2015, Rhonda was given an enormous sign that was impossible for her to ignore, and she followed it. Pay attention to the signs. especially the ones that show up on a Costa Rican mountainside. Oh, we have plans to go there at the Gratitude Girls. Upon her return home from that vacation, Rhonda immediately retired her career in legal administration, just like that. Opened her own company based in traditional wellness concepts and published her book, Seeing Energy, which is now part of the Energy Institute's many offerings. Rhonda also continues to be active in community work through initiatives that align with traditional values. Welcome to the Gratitude Girls, Rhonda. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I am very well.
I wonder if you could share with us, what is a day in the life of Rhonda Moffatt? What happened today? What was your day like?
It's a very big question, Rara. So my day usually starts, believe it or not, with gratitude. I have a rhythm. I kind of follow the rhythm of Earth, of sunrise and sunset. So in the evening, I kind of close all the drapes or the blinds or whatever it is in the house to kind of welcome the yin. And then in the morning, as the sun comes up, open the house, if you will, right? With that gratitude of just thank you for this perfect day and all that it brings. And thank you for all my gifts, blessings, and teachings. I do a small, meditation is probably too strong a term, but just something to center, just the breath to center. Walk the dog, I do a 3-mile run. And then from there, it can be anything to teaching at the post-secondary college, teaching online courses. I do a couple of government contracts. I have my regular clients for Feng Shui, Reiki, tarot card reading, tea leaf reading, and Eastern disciplines. And then I have a whole administrative alignment component. So some flavor of that. And then of course, family, friends, dog, boyfriend, personal wellness, that all fits in there somewhere as well.
You fit it all in. So for our audience who's watching today, you have time for yourself and you nurture yourself before you do anything else.
I had to learn this, that if you, and I teach this to my students as well, however you present yourself and whoever you are and whatever you're doing right now today, if you're going to be any good to anything or anyone, you must present on a day-to-day basis as whole, W-H-O-L-E, as opposed to dig a hole and jump in, which is how most of us can feel any given day. So when you present yourself as whole, regardless what you are doing in your day, I'm a daughter, I'm a girlfriend, I'm a dog mom, I'm a teacher, I'm a company owner, I'm all these things. And people will take pieces off of that whole, W-H-O-L-E, because that is what you are giving to the world and whatever that looks like. I have to start my day fully replenished in order to, so it takes me at least an hour. That run in the morning is essential for me.
Yes.
The dog, being out in nature, just the time to center, to be able to give whatever it is I need to give, has to happen. So some days my days start at 4:45 just to be able to get that time in at the beginning of the day.
Awesome. Rhonda, just check your internet connection to see if you're still on your Wi-Fi. You're frozen, just so you know, but you're frozen in a powerful position. So we're good, but just double check that. Yeah, so I hear what you're saying, and I think that's great that you have that 1 hour for yourself. Some people, well, Rhonda's going to come back, we'll let her in. Some people don't really do that. They don't do what Rhonda just talked about. They get up, they hop out of bed, they go where they're going, and they think, how would I give myself an hour? Yet it's so important. It's such a good strategy, a tip, health to think about ourselves. As Rhonda was talking about that, Lori, I was thinking about how you and I do that as well. We take that time for ourselves. I take it super early in the morning because I like to get up with the birds, so to speak. You do that, right?
Yes. Well, I do that now that I have to get up for the grandbaby anyway. So mine has adjusted. I didn't set an alarm clock for 30 years, but we would still do from like 9 to 11 in the morning was our quality time of getting up, and my husband and I talk together, and it's our time to pray and meditate, you know, lots of different things together. All that I get up at 6 a.m. It's my drive, my commute to my daughter-in-law's house, my son and daughter-in-law's house, is my time during that. And so I take that time to the same thing, think about things, plan my day in my head while I'm driving, as well as I always listen to something spiritual, motivational, training, something of that sort on my phone that, you know, goes into my car every day. So,
you know, I started to do something, I don't know if you know, and I say like, you know, and I'm thinking, did I tell you this? I want the audience to hear this too. I do this really amazing breathing. You can do any breathing, breathe. You decide who it is. Wim Hof, breathe. So I do this breathing and I take a cold shower. Now, let me explain what that means, because we're talking about taking time for ourselves. So it's not like I want to get into the hygiene, but I do want to share that I'll start with a warm shower, and I have conditioned myself with my breathing to not even feel like that's cold. So along with meditation and welcoming the morning and thinking, I do this with my body, not to it, but with it. And I've begun to really look forward to it. So when we talk about taking time for ourselves, that was a bit of a challenge, because it was a thought like, do I want to do that? And 13 years ago, when I moved to Ontario, I was doing that without even thinking. So now it made sense to me to include that, thank you, to include that right back into my program. And Rhonda, as you spoke about what you do in the morning, it made us really think about and elaborate on what we do in the morning and how it leads us into our day. And some people may not realize that an hour is really, it's one of 24, but it's nothing in the sense of giving ourselves something. So I will in fact meditate multiple times a day so that I could continue to feed my soul. And if today I took a ballet class, I will take a second shower and I will put that breathing to work with, you know, the cold feeling like warm. So when you talk about what your day is like and the things that you do, it's how you start. It's how you kickstart. You know, people say, oh, I woke up at the wrong time. I was in a deep sleep. Imagine getting up and not doing that for yourself. That would be like waking up in REM, right? Like, I'm not ready. I don't know, not ready for that. It's not the place I want to be. So that's your ritual, right? It's important for you to take care of yourself. And the reason why I asked you what's a day, you know, day in the life, like today specifically, because we get to know you and we can only do so much in a day. There's 24 hours, you know, we sleep, we take care of ourselves. You have a business or 5 or whatever businesses you have, and you move on. Yet when we get to really know who you are, we get to understand how you think. And like you talked about, you have service-oriented business now from legal. Let's talk about, how did you make that shift from legal to energy? Can we talk about that transition? Because there are people that will be listening and watching tonight or tomorrow, if they're watching the replay, that they're thinking of a transitional move for their career. So what clicked? What happened for you?
Well, I don't think you'd believe me if I told you. So I had 32 years or something in legal background. And throughout that time, just studied Feng Shui, Reiki, all the Eastern disciplines that fascinated me. And I knew it was going to be something. I was preparing for something. And I took a trip to Costa Rica, which was kind of a bucket list trip. I'm a surfer and I surf like a Canadian, which isn't to say that I surf well, but it's some of the best surf conditions in the world. And while I was there, I looked up just a reader out of curiosity, as I'll do in various points wherever I travel to. And this Mayan reader came up, and she was like 2 hours away from the hotel or something like that. And we rented a car for the day and we went to where she was. And she was so in the mountainside that not even our driver knew where she was. And he's calling on the phone to try and get to this place. And we drive up this like dirt road. and my significant other is with me, and his 2 kids are in the car, and she comes out of this like shack on the side of a mountain, for lack of a better term, and there's this balcony, and there's like parrots and monkeys and banana trees, and we're in the middle of nowhere. And Dean looks at me, he says, if you think I'm leaving you alone here for a couple hours, you're out of your mind. And the driver says, no, I know she's here, it's going to be fine, and you guys can just go surf. So Dean's like, okay. So it was just that moment where we got out, and she did a 4-hour reading for me that day, and she said, if you go home and perfect your studies in Feng Shui, your company will be successful. And at the time, I was well into the 6 figures in my career. I mean, I had 30 years in my career. I literally flew home, quit my job, and started to study Feng Shui with one of the leading experts in China online, and did my certifications, and I'm now accredited. And the rest, as they say, is history. My mom got sick, as you know, and I wrote my book by her bedside. And there's a, thank you to her at the front of the book, as there is my dad, who is still with us. So it's all connected, right? But yeah, just so, don't let
it happen.
So
it happened at a moment of, you were in Costa Rica, and it happened because some experience came to you and you made that decision there. And then you, yeah. Okay. Right. Awesome. So someone who's watching tonight can say, I hear that. I feel that. I ignored it. I didn't take an action on it, but you took an action on it.
It's a big jump, right? I mean, when you're making good money in a career that you spent your entire life doing, and you know that, like, okay, you can do it and you're good at it, right? It's all those things. But I mean, my front number now is a 5, and it wasn't a 5 at the time when I did this. So you think like, okay, what's the mortgage going to look like? What are all the, right? All those questions. And I'm like, whatever it's going to be today, it's not going to be tomorrow. You just throw the whole deck up, and there's 52 cards in the deck, and whatever lands is the next spaces that you're going to step on. It was a big moment, but it's exciting. And when I look at it now, for everything I do in a day, and just having the company and everything that is, very different from being in the company owner mentality to the employee mentality, and just making all those shifts. I couldn't imagine my life, what I had then, now. You outgrow it.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. Lori, I know that you probably have a question for Rhonda, and then I'll have another question for her, because I think we'll have a little fun after that.
Oh my.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so this is the Gratitude Girl show. So of course, we are going to ask you for a gratitude story. And now we know that, like, you're grateful for so many things, right? We all are. But if you could just pick one that you want to share with the world, can you tell us a little bit about one of the things that you're grateful and thankful for?
Okay, breath, period, full stop, right? Breath is what animates matter. So if you think of, if you've ever been to a funeral, this carcass that we walk around in houses our soul, and it's breath that animates that, right? And breath unites spirit with our very existence. And it's the air, which is the energy of breath, which gives us that unity and that connection of living things. So anything that we do, anything that we have, any step that we take along our path, all comes back to that connected breath, right? So it has to be breath, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And for those that are wondering, how can I be grateful for breath? Just rewatch that part. Just think about what Rhonda just said. They might have been looking for a story, but you gave us something that will live with us, continue to sustain us. Thank you, Rhonda. Now we like to play a little game, and we like to play a little shift of energy, as you may, and we like to pass the torch. So you are an owner of your own company. You know how to take the torch. We'd like to pass the show to you for a few minutes. And in doing that, unrehearsed, we'd like you to ask us any question that you'd like. Let us know who the question is for first or second, or which question goes to what. And Lori and I would like to answer you.
Okay, so my first question will be to Lori. What practice, person, place, or thing most feeds your soul and energy?
Well, if I go with my first instinct rather than what I think I should say, but first instinct is my grandbaby. I have one grandbaby, and he will be 1 November 12th, and he basically,
Congratulations.
thank you, and like all the grandmas before me all told me how wonderful it is and how much it will change your life and how much you'll love this grandbaby and it will totally change your world, and did not exaggerate one bit. And so so my world kind of revolves around him right now, and I am so grateful and thankful that I've built my life and business and everything around to where I'm able to do that since my daughter-in-law decided to go back to work. So that way I can take care of him, and, you know, he gets grandma lovings every day.
Lovely. Thank you for that. Rara, I follow you, of course, on social and a number of different tools, social tools. And I see a lot of your postings about you and your significant other and just that place that you find yourself in. And you cannot talk about gratitude without talking about the abundance, because as you are grateful for things, the abundance grows. So tell me a little bit about your vibe, your connection with the energy at Love and Above, and how you do what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, I'm really blessed to say that I have found my soulmate, and I know that because we were not together for 16 and a half years, and we still believed that we were soulmates. So I often wonder, what would it be like if we found each other and never were separated? I don't know if I would be as convinced, being the hard-headed Sicilian that I am, that I am now convinced that through all of our journeys and what we did, we were meant to be together. And I get to say things like, I get to live things like, I don't ever have to worry, and ever. I don't have to worry about where I want to go or what I want to do. My husband supports my every choice, as I support his, to the degree that he'll say, what can I do for you today to get you closer to your goal?
Nice.
And that is such a heartwarming decision, because sometimes I have to do a lot of silly things, like go here and go there and come back and do that. And silly meaning, you know, I plan my day so that I don't get bored with things, and he'll say, let me take you. So my connection to my love and my soulmate is to experience love in my life through the people that are really close to me. My Gratitude Girls partner, Lori, my family, my little mentors, my grandchildren, as I call them, my little mentors. I learn, Lori, you know that. You know that there is no love like that of a grandchild, no matter what and how much we love our children, and they chose us first. When these grandchildren come into our life, we're flabbergasted by the depth of these connections that we have, that we can watch them and think about their actions over and over again for hours, and it feeds my soul. I have the ability to go into deep contemplation numerous times throughout the day, and it's reenacting the love that I feel. And what I do is connecting. I connect my soul to my path and my passion, and I open the doors for those in front of me to be connected to theirs. Thank you, Rhonda, for asking that.
Can I have one more question, please?
Well, we have to give that to you because you asked, yes.
So, Catherine, you and I had spent some time, we were talking a little bit about conferencing and building a conference. And one of the questions you asked me when we first started to put that Jamboard together was if you could have any person, dead or alive, on your stage talking at your conference, who would it be? So I'm going to throw that question back to the two of you to say, if you could have any energy, dead or alive, on the show, who would it be? First, we'll start with Laurie.
All right. So, wow, could I pick two?
Yeah, sure. It's your show.
So I would say I have two, and they're for two different reasons. So one would be Zig Ziglar. He was one of my favorite mentors. I read every book he's ever wrote. I have multiple copies of his books. I studied him for over 30 years and saw him live in person probably at least 20 times.
Wow.
So he's one of my absolute favorites. And so on a business side, I would have him. On the spiritual, energetic side, I would have my mom.
Aww.
So I had a similar situation with my mom got cancer, and I moved onto my parents' couch basically for about 6 months and helped my dad take care of her so she could stay at home, during that time. And so my dad's still with us also. But she was literally my best friend and my mentor in a lot of different ways. She was a massage therapist, a reflexologist, a nutrition consultant, in so many different areas of all my spiritual / energetic side of me, comes from her. So I would have her teach all my people.
Sounds fantastic.
That's
Miss
beautiful.
Catherine?
It would be my parents, for the simple reason that I would want to have them both back together, watching, participating in this show, because they wouldn't even believe it, although they would say they believed it would happen, but they wouldn't believe how it happens, just the way the technology is. I think my parents and my mother always thought and knew everything that was going to happen to me. She's such a clairvoyant. And yet to watch them participate in the technology didn't really exist when I was growing up. It wasn't the way it is now. So to say, you're going to be and do and have and live a life, it was known the way it was known in the 50s, right? I grew up in the era of the Rat Pack. I grew up with, those kinds of Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra. And so to say, you're going to have an international show for 10 years and and that would just be mind blowing. I think that would be, and they are with me at every show. They are here. So I would have them.
I agree. Yeah.
Continue to, right? You can feel it. They continue to return on this show, on this platform, to say, wow, that's amazing. Look at that. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Rhonda.
Those were great answers, ladies, I must say.
Yeah, well, we really enjoy having a question come to us, not knowing what it is, and then it gives us a chance to really give our audience another perspective on us. And Rhonda, we could talk we could keep talking like you and I can. I just want to mention one more thing, or a question. I know that you are a member of BNI?
I am.
Okay, awesome. So you network. So let's take a second and talk about, you're at energy work, right? So you're going to go into BNI and you're going to talk about energy. Tell us, so the people in the audience who are in energy work saying, I can't talk about that in a BNI meeting. I don't really know how to do that. Share a little bit about how you do your 60-second pitch without having people roll their eyes.
So, okay, that's a great question, first of all. So on the BNI platform, often, when you're networking with people, if you have a 2-person business, you're going to have similar challenges. If you have a 20-person business, you're going to have similar challenges. It's the structure of business that you connect on. So when people that are in traditional industries, for lack of a better term, you do get some resistance. You do get some pushback. So number one, I'm like, you're looking at a legal girl that quit legal to open a tea leaf reading company. Don't talk to me about challenges, right? You got to put yourself out there, study, get yourself accredited and do your thing. And you align with that vibe and the people come. But my standard pitch is that we align people with their intentions based upon their current space, which is to say that when we see the great energy, we connect you to it. And when we see the crap, we protect you from it. It's basically my lead in.
Awesome.
And then the category in BNI is personal solutions. And who wouldn't want that? So my ideal client is anybody that's stuck or stagnant in those sticky places in life, graduation, divorce, marriage, all the things that you're trying to navigate your way through and you just want better flow. The crafts that I practice can connect you to that flow.
Great, thank you for that, because there are people who network and they belong to different organizations. I belong to one called WOW. I belong to one called Howie. I'm a Verity member, a member of Verity here in Toronto, an exclusive women's club. And that networking is very social. It's very sociable. I was just at a magnificent speaker series tonight.
I saw your post.
Marie Heenan. Oh my gosh. She's just so amazing. I got to take a selfie with her and buy her book, and just amazing, amazing. So when people are networking, they're thinking, what can I say? What's the pitch? Because everybody needs a pitch. And in your industry, in your new industry, because you are in so many aspects of that, you give someone a tip on how they can approach that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. We have put all of the different ways that people could connect with you. What's your first preference of how people can reach you?
Through the website is easiest, which is theenergyinstitute.ca. All the contact information you'll find it there on the contact page, along with all the socials.
Got it. Great. So in the show notes for tonight, all of Rhonda's links are there. Follow her on social. She's on Twitter. She's on Instagram. She's on LinkedIn. You'll see her pop up on Alignable. Yes, you'll see all her links. Connect with her, speak with her. If you have any questions, post them here on the gratitudegirls.com, and then you can follow where we have our business pages. And Rhonda's going to stick around with us, and we're going to talk to her because she is a trusted advisor. When you find someone that you trust, the advice that I heard tonight from Marie Heenan was people do business with those that they trust, but be skilled. Don't let that not be your primary objective. Get really good at what you do and then build relationships. So like you just said, Rhonda, get really good at what you do, get accredited, learn your skill, your task, your craft, your trade. Spend 10 years being good at it and build relationships, and people will know that you've spent 10 years being good at it. We're 10 years in this show.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. So now we're getting good at it, right? So we're going to keep building relationships. So imagine you come in here at the 10th year, 11th year, 2013. So
I just celebrated 7 on Saturday. So I've just entered my 8th year incorporated. I'm like,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. So you know what that means. So we're in our 11th year. So in each year you think, what's the difference between 7 and 10? 3, but it's 1,000 days. It's 1,200 days. There's so much that happens, and the knowledge and the techniques get sharpened. So thank you so much for bringing your skills and your talents here on the Gratitude Girls Show. Thank you for sharing with us. We really appreciate you. Hang out with us a little bit more. Lori, for somebody who's watching and says, I want to be in Rhonda's seat, I want to be there, what can we say to our audience about this?
Yes, well, first, be patient. So we have going on a 2-year waiting list right now for speakers on our show, but send us a message. Go to facebook.com/gratitudegirls. Make sure to like the page. Make sure to follow the interest so that way you get notified each time we do go live for all our free coachings and trainings, as well as all our wonderful guests like Rhonda here. And then hit message there and send us your gratitude story. And make sure you leave us your contact information so that way we can get back with you, and we will look it over and we will contact you and let you know when we can feature you.
We look forward to hearing the rest of your journey, Rhonda. So from year 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, stay close with us, hang out with us. And thank you so much for being here, to our audience, and to you, Lori. How would we do this without the collaboration that we have? Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate all of you and your audience.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Catherine. We will see all of you wonderful people the fourth Tuesday night of every single month. So make sure to watch our shows. You can also see all our past shows at gratitudegirls.com. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.